For over 100 years, there's been a fundamental divide in Northern Ireland, defined by religion, ancient loyalties and day-to-day grievances. As the majority Catholic Republic of Ireland was established in the early 1920s, 6 counties in the north with Protestant majorities stayed loyal to the British Crown. In the late 1960s, Catholic concerns over their civil rights, housing rights and political representation led to protests and riots. They were met with sometimes brutal force by the mostly Protestant police. Civilian militias and paramilitary groups formed on both the Republican and Unionist sides. Communities were divided. Street-level brawling escalated into murders and reprisals. As the Troubles continued in 1969, the British Army was sent in to try and restore order. They remained for almost 40 years, but the violence continued. On January 30, 1972, British soldiers opened fire on unarmed civilian protesters in what's known as the Bogside in Derry or Londonderry. 13 people were shot dead. More than a dozen others were injured in what came to be known as Bloody Sunday. Republican forces, including the Irish Republican Army or IRA, took their campaign of violence beyond the north with bombings in the United Kingdom itself and at sea, with the assassination of a senior member of the royal family, Lord Louis Mountbatten. A faltering decade-long peace process culminated in the Good Friday Agreement in 1998. US President Bill Clinton playing the role of honest broker at crucial times.
For 25 years now, the history of Northern Ireland has been written in the blood of its children and their parents. The ceasefire turned the page on that history. It must not be allowed to turn back.
But within months, a splinter group opposing the ceasefire, the Provisional Irish Republican Army, unleashed the single deadliest attack of all the Troubles. 29 people were killed in a car bomb attack in the town of Omagh. The death toll shocked the world. The real IRA apologised and declared a ceasefire. As the peace process continued, the ceasefire mostly held, militias disarmed, the British Army finally withdrew, and power sharing eased inequalities and resentments. But Northern Ireland is changing. Catholics now outnumber Protestants, and pro-Republican party Sinn Féin is now the most powerful political force in the north. Britain's exit from the European Union also raised questions around border arrangements and trade with the Republic of Ireland, which remains in the EU, and renewed some hopes of Irish unification. As this anniversary approached, a Republican parade in Derry or Londonderry ended with petrol bombs being thrown at police by more than a dozen people in paramilitary-style uniforms, a reminder that old wounds remain and peace can be a fragile thing.